Welcome ladies and gentlemen to the 9th installment of my Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links Best Deck series. Today we're going to be looking at the deck Harpies Hunting Ground. Just before the video starts, I'd like to say that this deck is a competitive deck. It has gotten me a lot of wins at King of Games. At one point my match history was all wins except for one disconnect, I believe. I'll have a screenshot probably of it on the screen. So if you're looking to climb ranks with a deck, this one I'd say is pretty good at the moment. It counters a lot of things in the meta. And without further ado, let's get into the guide. Alright, first of all, the best character for this deck is the only character for this deck. It is My Valentine, with the skill Harpies Hunting Ground. Begin the duel with the field spell Harpies Hunting Ground activated. In my opinion, I believe the skill is the best skill in the game, and the most sought after, as it's a drop, you can't get it from leveling. If you're unfamiliar with what this skill does, it allows you to start the game with the field spell Harpies Hunting Ground on the board. The field spell allows all winged beasts to gain 200 attack and defense, and when any Harpie Lady or Harpie Lady's sisters are normal summoned or special summoned, the player who conducted the spell targets one spell or trap card on the field and destroys that target. I'll talk more about how this works when I get to the strategy in the deck, because you won't really understand how it works with Elegant Egotist and how actually strong this ability is until I've gone through it. Alright, now we'll take a look at the deck list. The deck list consists of 2 Harpie Lady sisters, 1 Sphere Kuriboh, 1 Harpie Lady, 1 Harpie Lady 2, 1 Harpie Lady 3, 3 Skull Redbirds, 2 Gravity Axe Grarls, 1 Triangle Ecstasy Spark, 3 Elegant Egotists, 2 Mirror Walls, and 3 Reinforcements. Now this deck is very spell heavy, so I've put a note at the bottom that if you are having trouble drawing monsters, I'd replace one of your reinforcements with a monster of your choice. The only reason I haven't done it for this deck list is because it's not really it doesn't suit the flavour of the deck to just have a random monster in there, but there's not really that many winged beasts that kind of fit with the deck to keep it its own shape. But I do believe replacing one of the reinforcements with a monster is probably more beneficial to the deck. Just before anyone asks, My Valentine recently got the ability to drop Harpie Ladies. Now, Harpie Ladies, there can only be 3 Harpie Ladies in a deck, because Harpie Lady 1, Harpie Lady 2, and Harpie Lady 3 all count as the same card, just like how Skull Redbird, you can only have 3 copies of it in the deck. So you cannot have 3 Harpie Ladies, a Harpie Lady 2, and a Harpie Lady 3 in a deck. Only one of each, or all 3. Alright, let's take a look at the strategy. Simply all you do is play Harpie Lady, combine it with an Elegant Egotist, and you get a Harpie Lady sister out of the deck. Then, you protect these Harpie Ladies with a selection of trap cards such as Mirror Wall. Now, what makes this deck so strong is that this combo by itself is already pretty strong, but you can combine it with the field spell Harpies Hunting Ground, which allows you to destroy spells and traps on the opponent's board, which is insane. So by playing a Harpie Lady and an Elegant Egotist, you have now destroyed 2 spells or 2 traps your opponent has, so if they have a Mirror Wall hidden, it's now gone, and Mirror Wall is very common at the moment. Obviously this deck has got some weaknesses, such as the Harpie Lady Sisters is not exactly the highest attack, as only with Harpies Hunting Ground does it even go over 2000, but normally this doesn't matter because you win the game fairly early or fairly quickly because you're very good at controlling the board with this deck. It's very good at getting you an early lead or an early win, or just completely overwhelming your opponent's board with control. If you don't quite understand how this works, I'll have gameplay at the end that shows a pretty basic view on how the deck runs. Alright, let's go through the monster cards in this deck. The monster cards in this deck are Skull Redbird, Harpie Lady, Harpie Lady 2, Harpie Lady 3, Harpie Lady Sisters, and Sphere Kuriboh. So Skull Redbird, first of all, is in the deck purely for feel. It's the only winged beast that has a decent attack power, so when it's combined with Harpies Hunting Ground, it gets 1750. So it's just the strongest base stat in the game currently, if it has the Harpies Hunting Ground alive. So it's good in the deck. It's probably not the best card, but it fits the feel a lot more anyway. Hopefully with more sets released, there'll be more winged beasts that come out that kind of fill this slot instead of the Skull Redbird. Alright, the next three cards of the deck are the Harpie Ladies, which are the core of the deck. The first Harpie Lady doesn't do anything unique, it's just a basic generic Harpie Lady that works with Elegant Egotist. The second Harpie Lady has the ability to negate the effects of flip effect monsters that this card destroys by battle. This is very good as it negates things like 4-starred Ladybug, Hane, and just generically any other like flip effects. It can even stop them getting card draw. So this is probably the best of the Harpie Ladies, I think. The third Harpie Lady is a lot more defensive. It allows any opponent's monster that battles it will not be able to attack for the next 2 turns. So you can place it, and if he chooses to attack it, he will have to attack it knowing that his monster will not be able to be used for the next 2 turns. So it has lots of defensive uses, as well as some offensive uses if you want to try and stop your opponent attacking with a certain monster, such as if he has a monster in defense position that has a lot of attack. The next card is Harpie Lady Sisters. This card cannot be normal summoned or set, and can only be special summoned by using Elegant Egotist. This is your main powerhouse of the deck, or it is the powerhouse of the deck. Once you've got this on the board, combine it with a few spells and a few defensive traps, normally you can just beat your opponent. Combine it with the field spell, it also works with the field spell. You can kill off traps, spells, and you'll be able to just keep smashing at your opponent and slowly wither him down. There's not much to say about this card other than it does have its weakness being fairly low attack strength compared to other like high level monsters that other people are running, but normally you can win before the opponent can get them out. And with all the effect decks running around anyway, like the effect damage decks such as the Weevil decks and the Odeon decks, it doesn't really matter that this has such low attack strength. The last monster in this deck is Sphere Kuriboh. I put Sphere Kuriboh in this deck purely because there's a lot of times when your opponent like alls in on one particular attack, so they'll use like 3 equip spells or just a bunch of buffing monster spells like reinforcements and stuff all on one monster, so they have one chance at trying to kill your Harpie Lady Sisters, which you can just negate with a Sphere Kuriboh because you can just stop that one attack for the turn, put him in defense, and just kill it off when it's in defense the next turn. Which would also mean that normally its buffs like such as reinforcements would have run out by the next turn. So Sphere Kuriboh isn't like a necessary card for the deck, I just think running one of it can't hurt. Alright, now we'll go through the spells and traps in this deck. The spells and traps in this deck are Gravity Axe Grarl, Triangle Ecstasy Spark, Elegant Egotist, Mirror Wall, and Reinforcements. Gravity Axe Grarl is in here because, as I've said, the main weakness of Harpie Lady Sisters and the Harpie Ladies themselves is their attack power is fairly low. So giving them a Gravity Axe normally just buffs them up so they're kind of on par with other monsters, or just even a bit more than other monsters in the game. So it's pretty good to have equip spells and buffing spells in this deck. Triangle Ecstasy Spark is a very strong finisher. It allows all your Harpie Lady Sisters for one turn to have 2,700 attack, with the added bonus of your opponent not being able to use any trap cards without them getting negated. As far as I'm aware, you can only get one of these cards by leveling up My Valentine, and it's just generally very strong. It can be used to destroy your opponent when they have creatures that are too high attack for you, or it can be used to give yourself just a one-turn kill, which I've done a lot of times with this deck. You play your Harpie Lady, your Elegant Egotist, pull out your Harpie Lady Sisters, buff it to 2,700, and most of the time your opponent just dies. Elegant Egotist is the core of this deck. It's what you use when you've got a Harpie on the field to draw your Harpie Lady Sisters from your deck and play them on the board. Keep in mind you can use multiple Elegant Egotists, so if you have a Harpie Lady on the board, you can then just play 2 Elegant Egotists and you have 2 Harpie Ladies. So in one turn you can spawn 3 creatures, and if you had a Triangle Ecstasy Spark, you can then pretty much one turn kill your opponent. Even having the 3 Harpies on the board will allow you to destroy 3 spells if you have the Harpies Hunting Ground still in play. The next 2 cards, which are Mirror Wall and Reinforcements, are mostly in this deck for defensive reasons. Obviously you won't always be able to get your Elegant Egotists out on your first couple of turns, so the aim is, if you aren't able to, you will have a couple of defensive traps hidden on the board, ready for when your opponent tries to kill your Harpies or your Skull Redbirds. This allows you to protect your life points and even sometimes get a bit of chip damage into your opponent's life points, such as if they attack your mirror wall, you can just destroy their creature. Reinforcements is a little different though. It can be used offensively or defensively, because as I've said before, the Harpies do have a fairly small attack, so if you've got reinforcements on the board, you can use that to buff your Harpies to help kind of kill some of your opponent's cards. Alright guys, that's pretty much it from me. If you want to see gameplay from this deck, stick around, I'll have some at the end of the video. It's a little bit laggier than normal, I'm sorry about that, the recording kind of screwed up a little bit, but it should be alright and should be able to get the basic point across. Anyway, thank you for watching, and thanks for all the recent support on my videos and stuff, and I'll see you next time.
You're going to be all washed up.
If you underestimate me, I'm not... You think you can defeat me? Don't flatter yourself.
Prepare to sleep with the fishes.
Duel, it's my turn. I set a card face down. Come on out! I summon a monster in attack position. I end my turn.
My turn. I draw. From my hand, I activate a spell.
Ah! I have plenty of duel left in me.
From my hand, I activate a continuous spell. I'll show you no mercy. I summon a monster in attack position. Let's battle. Behold! I attack with my monster.
Now, I activate my face down card. My trap activates.
Ah! This duel is not over yet. My turn is complete.
Here I go. My draw. Swoop in, Harpie Lady. The field spell, Harpies Hunting Ground. If you're already struggling with one Harpie Lady, how will you fare against more? Witness the field spell, Harpies Hunting Ground. From my hand, I activated a quick spell. Let's battle. Let's go, Harpie Lady. Scratch
This
slash.
duel is not over.
It's too late.
You were a worthy opponent.
That was a...